I've never been camping.
I can't believe that.
I'm not a camping guy, bro.
What kind of childhood did you have?
I love hiking with a pack of cigarettes.
What?
Just kidding on the hiking. I've never been hiking.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the Eat Your Content podcast. I'm your host, Rich Herrera. Thank you for pushing play on my little podcast. I appreciate that. Just a reminder, follow me on socials at Rich Herrera and at Eat Your Content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and wherever you get your social media feeds. And also make sure to like and follow on the podcast flavor of choice and hit that bell icon so you know when things are coming up. We have been covering Top Chef Season 22 all season long. We just had the finale recently, and I am pleased to have Chef Massimo of Top Chef Season 22 with us. So close to Milan, Chef. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. Thank you for taking the time. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, super cool to be here. Thank you so much, Rich.
Yeah, so I normally have a co-host for the Top Chef 22 recap, Chef Savannah Miller from Season 21. I don't know if you are familiar with her, but she says hi.
Of course.
And she
Cool.
misses the interview today. She is slam packed with events, but she wanted me to say that she is sad to miss today's interview and to say hello.
What's up, Chef?
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your time on Top Chef, but before we dig into that, I wanted to learn more about you. I mean, you are without a doubt probably one of the fan favorites on the show. Big personality, just very memorable. I don't remember in recent years a personality as big as yours on the show, and for that I'm grateful. One of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on the pod. But I want to talk a little bit about your background. You grew up in an Italian family in Montreal. You started in a pizza kitchen at 16. So how did that kind of launch you into your hero's journey of where you are today?
I was on my way to a very interesting college education where I was wide-eyed and interested by the world. So I was studying in marketing, but taking classes in sculpture and yoga, or I was studying in creative writing, but I was taking rock climbing classes and quantum theory. I was all over the place. And I was at a bar one night, and I had a friend. He said, "Hey, Massimo, do you know how to cook?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Okay, well, listen, I'm leaving for Europe this summer. I need somebody to replace me at my job. Cooking is really cool. You know, you get to drink beer all day. You get to play with knives and make pizza." And at 16 years old, I thought that was really cool. I thought that sounded great. And so I started to become a cook. Then accidentally, very, very quickly, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with cooking, and that's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. Eventually, I would even skip school to work. And after college, what we call CEGEP here, which is, I guess, pre-university. Before university, I took a year off, and I said, okay, I'm going to see where this cooking thing takes me. And never looked back. So what started off as a summer job is still a summer job. It's almost 20 years later. I'm in my 20th year now, and I'm still as excited as ever. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, in those 20 years, I mean, your resume is impressive. You ended up training at a bunch of French restaurants across Montreal. You worked with Daniel Boulud, and then you did a stage at Noma. What were some of like the most valuable lessons you took away from those very prestigious places where a lot of chefs growing up, coming up in the industry, these are dream places where they want to stage and learn. So what kind of lessons did you take away from those places?
I took away the most valuable lesson I took away from these places, which is probably the most obvious one, which is respect for the client, respect for who you're cooking for. It sounds dumb, it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes, especially in fine dining, there's pretentiousness, and there's holier than thou mentality. Oh, the chef's always right. Well, no, the client's always right. It's all about the client. And at these restaurants, they go above and beyond to be ready for each individual. It's not only about a client or a table or a reservation, or it's about each individual needs to have a service that's tailor-made for that person. And so we need to be ready for them. We need to know where they are, what language they speak, how to welcome them, and then catch the vibe of everybody wants to be served differently. I know I probably want to be served differently than you if we both go to the restaurant at the same table. And it's about gauging this and creating the best experience for the client. It's not about the food, it's not about the wine, it's not about the service, it's about myriad, but it's always about the client. And at these amazing restaurants, best restaurants in the world, best restaurant in North America, like they go above and beyond to make sure that the client is the number one priority. And when you're cooking at an elite level, these humane things could easily be lost, right? And yeah, no, it's all about the clients. That's what I learned. All about the client. Number one.
Yeah, that repeat business is what you want, right? At these
Re- Repeat
places.
business.
Repeat
Yeah.
business for sure. So during Noma, you staged, and I read in an interview that you experienced like a near-death experience thing.
Oh, you read that? Oh my God, you did your
Yeah.
homework.
Well, I try. What can you tell me about that? What are you comfortable sharing about that? And what did you learn about yourself? What did you take away from that? And how did that change your point of view on life, on cooking, on food?
Sure, yeah. Well, we were on our way to Las Vegas for a music festival. I was finishing my last shift before vacation at Maison Boulu, the Daniel Boulu restaurant in Montreal. I take my bicycle. I'm on my way to yoga class. Gonna zen out and enjoy my vacation. A block away from my yoga studio, I get sandwiched between two cars.
Whoa.
I should have died. There's no reason why I didn't die. I should have fallen forward and been run over. Instead, somehow I fell backwards. There's no logical explanation. And then you go to your yoga class. You dust it off. I had a scratch, maybe. Go to yoga class, and then you start. It's very spiritual. That's what I love about yoga. For me, yoga was for about 10 years of my life. It was a very, very, very big part of my life where I was doing it almost every day. And the spiritual side is very enlightening, very enriching. And so, you get into these existentialist questions. Who am I? What have I become? Who do I surround myself with? What are the choices that I made? Am I happy? And I just got married. Everything was just coming along. My career was just starting to take off. And then I said, you know what? I have no regrets. Who I surround myself with, the decisions that I made, the choices. I have no regrets. But I would have always liked to stage at Noma. That would have been the only thing. So that night, I applied. And I had a friend help me out with an email address to send it to the right person. Within a few days, I got accepted, and I went on my journey to Copenhagen, where I had no idea what was waiting for me. I wasn't necessarily like a fan of their cooking. It wasn't what I was doing. It wasn't what I was set on to doing as well. It wasn't where my pedigree was bringing me. But I do have the books, like everybody, and I do have the questions in my mind. What the fuck does fermented barley in a lobster sauce with, what does that taste like? What does oxalis taste like? What do grilled ramson leaves taste like? This is 2014, right? And so then I quickly realized that the ecosystem here in Montreal is much like the ecosystem in Denmark. A lot of the products that they use, that they have success with, we have here, and nobody's using it. And all these wild ingredients are growing within the cracks of our sidewalks, for example. It's readily available. Not that I would ever serve anything in the sidewalk. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we have all these products that they're having so much success with, that are so obvious for us, but nobody's using them. And so that, mixed with the incredible artisan spirit that they have at Noma, where if they're going to make a ham, they're going to make it for 2 years. If they're going to make a soy sauce, if they're going to use a soy sauce, they're going to make it. If they're going to use a miso, they're going to make it. They're going to learn how to make it. So all these things spoke to me so much, and within a very short amount of time, changed my life. Now, I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't expecting 4 months to change my life the way it did, but it happened, and I had my palms wide open, and I absorbed everything. And after Noma, I came back to Montreal. I got a head chef job at a restaurant that was along the same pages, that had a mission along the same page as Noma, something where um, I could work on what I was introduced to at Noma, and quickly developed one of the biggest fermenting programs in North America, and yeah,
Wow.
that's
So
that's
so
that's
the
that's what Noma did. Yeah.
yeah, so the trajectory of your career took a hard right turn because of that accident. Had that not happened, you may not have even thought to do Noma. You probably would have gone on about your life doing whatever it was you were doing, and who knows where it would have been. It's like an alternate universe. There's a multiverse where Chef Massimo did not get in that car accident, and is doing something else. And this one, you're launched a career in 2022. You opened up your own restaurant, Cabaret L'Enfer. Yeah, I mean it's a top one. It's a Canada's 100 best list very quickly. And that restaurant, your restaurant there has a lot of theater involved in hospitality. And how do you get those two to mesh? What was your conceptualization of trying to make your restaurant what it is?
I think the number one thing that puts our restaurant, that puts our food above another restaurant, is it's a completely open kitchen concept. We're serving people right in front of them. The inspiration was omakase, the way omakase restaurants are designed. Biggest inspiration is, of course, also, as well as omakase, Brooklyn Fare, Chef Table Brooklyn Fare, or Cesar Ramirez, who I had the pleasure to meet a few weeks ago, where it's a long counter. Diners are on the other side. They see the extremely organized, extremely clean rush of a kitchen service. And when our piece of fish is cooked, it's not under a heat lamp for 30 seconds, for a minute, for 2 minutes. It's served right away. And I think having an open concept kitchen with no heat lamps makes us extremely honest. And it's within those seconds, just those few seconds, that's what I feel like that's what puts us apart. Aside from that, it's nice to be around people. It's nice. Me personally, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm particular.
No, not at all. I
You know,
can't picture it at all.
I can't be closed off in walls. I need a few windows. I need to see outside. I need to see people. And aside from that, our restaurant Cabaret L'Enfer, which is the French, in French it means cabaret hell, basically, but it's there's no religious reference, there's no biblical reference. It's named after a cabaret that existed in Paris, 1880 to 1940. It was a theme cabaret. So if you Google it, it's a very, very interesting facade, very interesting design, where the masonry is absolutely nuts. So the first time I saw this in a design book, Cabaret L'Enfer, which was home to Pablo Picasso for a while, home to Hemingway, the Surrealist movement, the Neo-Surrealist movement, Les Années Folles, La Belle Époque, and I thought I'm a lover for everything Parisian. I'm a real sucker for everything Paris. I thought it would be cool. I thought it'd be cool to name a fine dining restaurant the name of a strip club, or the name of like a not restaurant.
Yeah.
Like Café Boulu is like really cool because it's a fine dining restaurant. It's called Café. Like I like these things, and Cabaret L'Enfer is impactful as a name. Now, it's also the smartest thing I've ever done because it was a natural selection of my clientele. Because as you could imagine, Rich, Cabaret Hell is the name of a restaurant that could insult people, could offend people. It could make people say, "Oh, no, I'm never going there." Well, the good news is those people, I think, are the difficult diners. And the crazy ones that are my clientele that said, "Yeah, Cabaret Hell, yeah, let's go tomorrow." Well, those end up being actually pearls, incredible people, wonderful people that are just looking for a good time. That there's a lot of mystery around the restaurant, which I like, and they're saying, just a bunch of people saying, yeah, like let's do it, let's go have some fun. And my clientele is the best. There's no assholes. There's no people not having a good time. Everybody's celebrating something. Every date likes each other. Everybody's always smiling, and it creates a vibe. The vibe of the diner is an exact collaboration between the service that we give, and it's a magical dining room. Last night was one of the best nights of my life, as of every other night, and I'm so privileged and to be able to be doing this every night.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at your website on the restaurant and I was so impressed with the pictures of the food there and the philosophy behind it. It's definitely on my list to visit if I'm ever in Montreal. And I apologize for butchering the name with my gross American accent, but
No, it's cool. I
I
love
did the
it.
best I could.
It's You see, it's so romantic in French. Cabaret l'enfer.
I know, right? It's
Cabaret
amazing.
hell. It's like I had a hard time with my permits. The city didn't want to give me my permits. They thought I was opening up a strip club. I was like, guys, no, I promise it's a fine dining restaurant. I'm not gonna have like an ATM machine or video lottery machines.
Not a pole to be found. Look, no glitter anywhere.
No glitter. I promise.
It's hilarious.
Now, what I wear underneath my chef whites is my business.
Hey, no shame for me. No shame for me. So let's fast forward. I mean, your career up to this point it could be the envy of any chef coming up in the business, but you decided to take on the additional challenge of Top Chef season 22. What inspired you to join that season? Were you, and because it was Destination Canada, every Top Chef season has kind of the local person as one of the contestants. Were you looking to be on the US version of Top Chef, or did you want to be on Top Chef Canada, or did it matter?
So the week before I got the call from Top Chef USA, I got a call from Top Chef Canada, which I respect incredibly. But it was at a moment where I couldn't tackle on anything else, and I had to respectfully refuse.
Mm.
The next week, I got a call from Top Chef USA. I thought somebody was pranking me. And then I thought about it. I told him, I said, guys, listen, I just refused Top Chef Canada last week. Like, you see, like I'm the only managing partner in my restaurant. So that's in the morning, I do administration. In the afternoon, I do cooking. In the evening, I do running around. At service, I do service. At the end of the night, when every client is gone, I do accounting.
Oh, wow.
And like it's a 7-day job, and I couldn't tackle on more. The summer was just approaching, but I got this call, and so I used to watch Top Chef USA. It helped me in my career. It gave me, when I was working in pizzerias, and I could name you not even 3 restaurants in Montreal or in the world, it gave me a beacon in the sky, somewhere to point to, somewhere to say, that's where I want to go. This Richard Blaze. Wow, I've never seen somebody that could express themselves artistically, creatively with this craft. I thought it was just tomato sauce, meatballs, and Parmigiano Reggiano. Wow. That is cool. I want to learn that. I want to go to a restaurant where I could learn those techniques. Gail, Tom, Padma, now Kristen, these people have created such a strong community for food lovers, for foodies, and for chefs. And what they've done for the community is incredible. I respect them so much. So I couldn't say no to the opportunity of cooking for them every day. And that's really what it was. What it was I gotta go meet Gail. I gotta meet Tom. I gotta cook for Tom. The last full season that I watched was Kristen's season when she won. And I remember I was so impressed by her. And when you're young, you're dumb, and you're full of energy, and you're starting to get trained, you have a few tricks up your sleeve. You're watching Top Chef, and as a professional, you're putting yourself in that mind frame, like, oh, I would do this, so I would do that. And you're thinking like, obviously, how would I do on this competition? How would I do? And during Kristen's competition, during Kristen's season, I was like, I think I could do pretty good. And then I see the final, and I see her bust out these pastries. And even before that, I think there was something where she won with a pastry. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm so far away. I'm so far away. That's what I need to do. And then after that, I started doing stages in pastry shops for pastry chefs, and and that actually helped me be the rounded chef I am. And because of that, I have a background in pastry, and which I love. And so that's what Top Chef means to me. And so when I got the call, and it was not possible for me to do it, I made it possible. I was my partner had relocated to Montreal not long afterwards. I expanded my team with incredible people, and that gave me the freedom to leave for 2 months and do Top Chef, which was one of the most enriching experiences of my life. And if it would start again tomorrow, for example, if Top Chef All Stars would start again tomorrow at 9 a.m., at 6 a.m., whenever, if it would start in 1 hour, I would do it. I would drop everything and do it in a heartbreak. It was heartbreak. Do it,
Heartbeat?
everything in a heartbeat. Heartbeat is the idiomatic expression. Yeah. uh, I would do it again, 100%. It was so you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself professionally, what you're able to do, what you're able to do in the time frame, the risks. Um, but no, like you learn. For me, it was very big spiritually. It was a very big impact spiritually.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And for so hearing about your story, you say no to Top Chef Canada. You say yes to Top Chef USA. So if you were on Canada, you would have just been one of 15, 16 Canadians competing on the show. But now you're on Top Chef USA, the lone Canadian in Top Chef Destination Canada, representing not just Montreal but your entire country against a bunch of U.S. invaders into Canada for Top Chef. What did it feel to have kind of the country behind you? I'm sure rooting for you going into this iteration of Top Chef.
I didn't really think about it. I didn't really think about like Canada rooting for me. I did think about one thing though, and this one is very, very important for me. It's how to represent being Canadian. Of course, now watching me on TV, I realize I have a French accent. I'm an Anglophone. It's so funny. But in Quebec, we're French. So you
Yeah.
come to my restaurant, I say bonsoir. Um, we're French. I'm Anglophone. My parents are from Italy. But one thing that needed to be conveyed was being Canadian. There's a hypocrisy about being Canadian. Unfortunately, I'm part of this hypocrisy, whereas I cook the food of the colonizers. You know, we're
Mm,
on stolen lands. There were genocides.
mm,
This land is borrowed. There were people before us that we owe everything to, that made these barren lands for 6 months fertile to feed a nation. And we owe it to our Indigenous and First Nations communities to pay them the biggest homage, biggest respect. And, this is the message that I was conveying my fellow participants. Whereas it's not just peace and love and being Canadian and missing a tooth and going to play hockey and it's there is a dark part about being Canadian, and there is respect and homage that we need to share and that we need to pay tribute to. But our land is so beautiful. We have every elevation possible. We're surrounded by water. We have incredible soil that has been made fertile for us. We have great products, great produce, seafood, fish. Here in Quebec, we have everything that we need in terms of an ecosystem, in terms of seafood, meat, vegetables, volaille, things flying, you know. Um, and then after that, I think maybe the contestants thought, oh, a Canadian guy. Oh, well, I think an international reputation of Canadians is, they're very friendly, they're very nice, maybe a bit pushovers, night. And I think I'm a bit loud. Maybe at times a bit obnoxious. I think those stigmas of what an international Canadian's reputation is, I think I may have broken all of them. But being Canadian is absolutely beautiful, and I think everybody saw that.
Yeah.
And one thing that is 100% Canadian is respect for its community, and I feel like everybody saw that. Top Chef did such a good idea, and also introducing all the other chefs to Canadian culture. Um, the chefs, the 14 chefs, did a very good job introducing me to American culture, because America is fucking big. There's 51 states or 52, 51 and a half.
Yeah.
And every state has its own terroir, its own culture, its own food, and we know nothing. We know nothing. Um, and it really it's encouraging me in doing a world tour of the states. Like I recently was in Chicago for the first time. Love
Oh
Chicago.
yeah.
Love Chicago. And they do things a lot differently than other places. They have a whole different background and history. Um and Yeah, so I feel like Top Chef did a good job at showcasing Canadian culture, but also the American chefs did a really good job at introducing me to what else is out there that I don't know about that I need to go check out as soon as possible. Right now, let's go shoot a puck.
So what piece of American culture did you experience with the other chefs that you're like,
You
really?
know, you hear them talk about food, and they're saying, San Antonio, we do this like that. Oh well, no, in Houston, you never do that like that. That's you do it like this. That's the only way to do it. Oh well, in Dallas, that same thing. We do it like, and every little Pittsburgh, we don't do it like this. We do it like that. No. In Philly, I've been to Philly. Philly, we do it like like
Yeah.
they're and everybody's on the same like there's a lot of my culture that's missing from not knowing the states enough.
I mean, we as Americans get a lot of flack for not traveling internationally enough. Like we're
100%.
but you travel across America and you go to a different section of the country. It could be literally a different country. And even in Florida, where I'm from, I'm in northern Florida, which is kind of the South. But the further south you go in Florida, you're going into Spanish territory. Miami has a lot of Cubans, and you feel like you're kind of in
Nuts.
Havana. It's a completely different. You drive 4 hours south, and you feel like you're in a different country, and that's why we don't need to travel so much, because we have so much here in America that we can experience and feel like we're in different parts of the country. So I appreciate the what you're saying there about learn a lot about American culture and all that.
Absolutely. Road trips is a really big thing in American culture, and
Oh
I
yeah.
get it now. I understand. And yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait to know more about American culture, terroir. I want to speak French in the bayous.
There you go. It's a different French. It's Creole French. So even then, you're
Incredible.
experiencing something a little bit different. So, yeah, I mean, I look forward to seeing on social media your road trip across America and what you're. That's a travel show idea right there. So pitch it,
Maybe.
and you got it. So let's fast forward to some of the highlights that are my favorite portions of you on Top Chef. And in talking to you, when I first started watching the show and you came on, you had this real big personality. I'm like, there's no way he's like this, like in real life. It just at an 11, 100% of the time. But talking to you now, I'm like, this is just you all the time. And it's so refreshing to kind of see you not necessarily play a character on TV, but this is just who you are. And that's just really neat to see. So thanks for that. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So Restaurant Wars. I want to jump ahead kind of midway through the
Restaurant
competition.
Wars.
You're at Restaurant Wars, right? And you're genetically bred to run front of house, I thought. Probably one of the better front of house performances I've seen on Top Chef. You got a little bit of flack from Janet Zuccherini saying it was too casual. I mean, you did the kneel down thing at the table, which personally as a diner I love. It makes that interaction much more personal. But Zuccherini was like, "Yeah, you're too casual, man." And at first I was like, "That's not really a criticism more than it is like a personal preference." So watching that back, because I don't think she said that well, she did say that to you at judges table, but hearing that, what was kind of going through your head in terms of, what do you
So
mean?
I know Janet. I love Janet. She's one of the people I respect the most in life. Like I mentioned on the show, if it wouldn't be for Janet, I wouldn't have started making the plunge to opening my own restaurant. She encouraged me.
Mm.
She was exactly what I needed. Um, Having said that, I have a picture that I'm pulling up. Okay, it's on
Uh-oh.
my phone.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
I like to do service at eye level. I don't want to be looking down at people talking down. I don't feel comfortable. Um, I like in my restaurant that's called Cabaret L'Enfer. Um, it's as fine dining as possible, but I play Ramones a little too loud. Uh, I want it to be. I have candles everywhere. There's almost. I basically shut the lights and there's just candles everywhere. I want it to be as homey but as professional as possible. I want to be right on that line of we're serving you at our fine dining restaurant, but also you're a guest in our home. I want to be right on that line of professionalism and friendly. And so you could see me doing this basically every night where I actually sit down next to the guests while I'm explaining. If I'm not, getting down at eye level, for me, eye level is extremely important. I understand what Jana was saying. The other judges, they also agreed. But you know what? Maybe in Montreal we played down a little bit. We're a bit more relaxed. We're a bit more chill. But eye level service is something that for me is extremely important, and it's something that I do in my restaurant. And I want people to feel comfortable and not like a position of like power or
Mm.
you know what I'm saying. My ego's big enough. I don't need to be standing above somebody. So it's very important, like for me, eye level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's less stuffy, less uptight. When I watched
Yeah.
Restaurant Wars, I was appreciative of that. And there's studies that show that when you do that sort of thing, when you kneel down in front of them or sit down next to them, tips are bigger for the servers because it's a much more
Oh,
personable service. I mean, you're doing the right thing for your servers to make more money doing that. So it was really interesting when I heard that feedback from Zuccherini. I was like, I mean, I get what you were saying. It's restaurant wars supposed to be quote unquote fine dining, but it's really kind of upscale casual the way I kind of view restaurant wars. I mean, you look at restaurants like maybe Alinea or Ever, and you probably wouldn't do that. But at Restaurant Wars, I thought it was completely acceptable. So I was just kind of like, Janet, you're in your ivory tower. You can kind of, step down. It's okay, and be with the people. Be with the people. Another thing I want to talk about with the Restaurant Wars, you were on Tristan's team, and
yes.
during that time, Tristan received some just devastating news about his father
Horrible.
having a stroke and dying the next morning, and you could really see and beyond the edit of the show, the team really rallied around Tristan. And so when you guys found out, when the rest of the team found out what happened with Tristan's stepfather, was there this conscious effort to kind of get together and like we can't lose. We got to do this for Tristan. How did that change the atmosphere and the service for Restaurant Wars during filming?
So I was in the dining room, and for me, that service was like when you're riding a motorcycle at 200 kilometers an hour, or sorry, miles,
Yeah,
which is significantly
what are
faster
these
than kilometers,
kilometers that you speak of?
which is significantly faster than us kilometers. But and it's like doing a turn, and you have your knee grazing the asphalt, and you're one hair away from complete wipeout, but you're under control. So for me, that's what Restaurant Wars was. But I was in the dining room, so I was separated from my team. I knew something was up. I didn't know what was up until judges table. I didn't know
Oh
that
wow.
that his father passed away until judges table. Tristan, he's a strong guy. He's a proud guy. Um, all I knew is that there was personal problems. There was a situation where the day before he had to leave, and I saw him come back. I saw tears in his eyes. But you know, if it's me, I'm not talking about anything. I'm internalizing it, exploding inwards. I didn't know what happened exactly. During service, he had left to get that awful call, worst call ever. And I saw Lana and Vincenzo. They just fucking put it in overdrive. They put in overdrive and they just fucking pumped it out, and they rallied behind him, and they made it. They killed it. Lana and Vincenzo killed it, and so then we found out at judges' table that for me, if I was in his position, I have no idea. I don't think I would have come back. I don't think I would be strong enough. I wouldn't be strong enough to come back. I can't even think about it. Putain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was really impressive
Wow.
to see. It was really impressive to see on screen the way the team rallied around him and got the win for him, and giving that sort of storybook ending of in anybody else's shoes, like you were saying, would have been totally acceptable to have left the competition head held high, and completely understandable. But he and his family wanted him to stay in honor of his stepfather, and I thought it was the right decision. So, yeah, interesting there. So speaking of Tristen, there was apparently a little bit of beef between you two for a moment. One part it was caught in the stew room. I think was most evident was Tristen was saying you have to cook from a perspective, and you were saying, well, I just find good ingredients and I just want to cook them the way I like to eat them, and there was a little bit of beef there between you two, mainly over philosophy of cooking, and Tristen on his confessional said, Massimo's cooking is what I cook against. Did that beef ever spill over kind of behind the scenes, or was it just a passing comment, between you guys? And was there really any beef, or was that all editing?
I mean, me and Tristen, we both have very, very different pedigrees. He has an incredible pedigree, by the way, and it took the whole season, to kind of figure out where he was, where he's from. He kept his cards very close, but obviously he was very talented. He had a lot of success, and he had an incredible pedigree. Something that he wasn't sharing. I think he tried to be like the hidden dragon, but a dragon can't hide, And was there beef? I think there was two strong personalities. There was never any bickering or any arguing, but two strong personalities in a room, and I think that's what it gave. That's what it gave. I mean, yeah, that's what it gave. There's no beef on my end, at least,
So it's all good. It was just a moment in the heat of the moment of the competition there. Things kind of boil up, and just the way they edited it, I was like, oh man, I wonder if they've been like kind of at each other's throats most of the season or something. But good to know that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. Just two strong personalities doing what they do.
Yeah. Also, I'm very used to walking in a room where immediately half the people hate my guts and half the people are like, oh, this guy's cool. Immediately.
That's funny. So let's get to your elimination. So the Forged in Fire challenge, outdoors, which is not a familiar place for you, not a big hiker, as evidenced in the opening scene there. But you decided you got the extra 30 minutes as the advantage, and you decided to take that 30 minutes and make a bannock, kind of a bread cracker type thing. Topped it with a bunch of foraged flowers. And Gail said it felt disconnected from the trout, and that ended up eliminating you. Between you and Bailey were on the bottom. She had undercooked peas. Your only mistake, from what I could see, at least from the show, was just that cracker that didn't really connect with everything else, and then you were eliminated. There was a lot of talk online that was not the right elimination. That Bailey's undercooked peas, and I love Bailey, but Bailey's undercooked peas was a bigger mistake than your disconnected bannock. And you said in your confessionals like that hurt a little bit. So
that hurt a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were one step away from Milan, which in my podcast I said not having Massimo in Milan was a huge mistake. You doing your thing as an Italian Canadian in Italy and back in the mother country would have been gold TV for me. I would have loved to have seen you in there. So walk me through what was going through your head as you heard the words, Massimo, please pack your knives and go, being this close to Milan.
I mean, it's still very, very, very hard. It's still very, very hard. I came back. I had no idea what happened. I said, you know what? Judges, they were right all season. I respect the judges. They say I got outcooked. I got outcooked. That's it. I mean, I don't know how, but if they said it, it must have happened. Um, I mean, yeah, it's hard. This one was hard. This one was hard. It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was really hard to watch. I thought so. The bannock. So going back to trying to showcase what it is like to be Canadian, trying to showcase Canadian culture. I had a bit more time. I did a bannock, which is a Scottish flatbread that colonizers brought over, which fed indigenous communities throughout winter because it's an unleavened bread. It's cooked on fire. It's cooked on a rock. So I'm there and I'm like, I have half an hour extra. Let's do it. Um, we forged all these. I found all these flowers. So while other people were looking for certain things, I know that land. I know those products, and I was so impressed that in September, the flowers are just as sweet as the ones you could get in May and June. So I said, okay, we got to do a bannock with all these flowers and showcase the land and the terroir of the moment right now. This is incredible. And I'm super happy with that dish. The fish, I mean, I think I was the only one to butcher, except for
Hmm.
cutting cabbage in four. But I think I was the only one that actually butchered. I know I butterflied the fish. I showed technique. I cooked it perfectly. I smoked it perfectly. I even started a fire on a cut. I started 2 fires in Top Chef, which is, I think, a record. My garnish, my sauce with the mustard. A lot of people think it was underforaged. It was actually not, especially considering how tedious it was to get all those flowers for 13 people. Um, it was extremely simple in flavor, extremely bold, extremely focused. It was a mustard sauce with the root, with the leaves, and with the flowers. It was a spicy sauce that tasted like a horseradish potato. It was very focused. Um, So I have to say to everybody thought it was underforged. I can guarantee you, underforged. It was not underforged. But my food, which I really do like doing this, it's a bit of a shocking thing that I like to do is make my food look really simple, or cover my food with something that you can't see what's underneath. Then you got to eat it all together and then taste the complexity. But yeah, listen, I got outcooked. Um, I mean, it wasn't just by Bailey; it was by the cabbage and the jerk spice and the skewer.
Yeah.
I guess I got outcooked. And that's Bailey. She's incredible. Bailey, I have so much respect for Bailey. And it wasn't even about the peas. It was about I just got outcooked by everybody else. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're that close to Milan, I'm sure the thought of cooking that progressive four-course dinner of your life was crossing your mind. What would you have done had you made it to Milan to the finals? What would your four courses have been?
Um, my four courses. I did have a lot of it written down. Okay. I spent a lot of time alone in my residence, where I wrote a lot of menus for the finale, but I stopped. I started writing business plans. I wrote 4 business plans
Oh
without a
wow.
calculator. And and what would my four course be? I mean, I would if there would be time, I would do a pasta because pasta is
Yeah.
my thing. You have to know pasta is
Yeah.
my thing. But if I don't have enough time to do it properly, a stuffed pasta properly, I won't do it because it has to dry to hold the shape, to have the crocante. You have to make the stuffing has to be perfect. And these things they take time. If I won't have the time to do it properly, I won't do it. So, I'm either 100% or I'm zero. So on pasta, I never had a chance to do pasta. Well, no, I did a gnocchi, but that was a quick fire. That doesn't really count. Like a
Yeah.
stuffed pasta, like yeah, no, it definitely does hurt.
I mean, I imagine to be so close and to lose it there. But so you said Top Chef, and I think a lot of chefs say this going on the show. Top Chef changes you as a chef. You go through this crucible of challenges from beginning to end, and you can't help but be changed by it. So, what things have Top Chef going through this process have you taken away from it? What have you learned? How has it helped you grow as a chef that you use today?
So, to let things come a bit more organically. So the first two episodes, I had really good cooks. I had really, really good cooks, but I ended up at the bottom. And at first I didn't understand. Then I realized because, well, you know what? No matter what the challenges were, those two first dishes that I pulled out were going to be the first two dishes that I would pull out. They were ready to go, and it didn't, even if it didn't make sense in the challenge, I forced it. That's where I was wrong.
Mm.
And so to let things happen organically, but also to know yourself, to know what's realistic, to know what's realistic with my employees. Not to keep, I have that kind of toxic behavior where, okay, we're comfortable. Okay, let's elevate. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's elevate. Okay, we're good. Let's elevate. Oh, we can't make it. Okay, I'll sleep 2 hours less. I'll come 4 hours earlier by any means necessary. Right. Well, no, that's also not the right way to do things, and it's to be realistic, to know what's possible and within what time frame. So I was busy with the restaurant, right? The only managing partner, right now the only partner. I don't have another partner, so I'm back at that. But I didn't have time to practice. So quick fires, which at first I had a bit of success. Towards the end, I did not. But quick fires was something I was concerned about because you know yourself within a day. You don't know yourself within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes.
Mm.
I don't know myself within 3 hours. My food is not done within 3 hours. So also that was a very difficult thing to say, okay, well, how do I represent myself and what I do within this small time frame? What do you mean I don't have a week and a half to do a recipe? you know? And so those are the things that I took back, and I'm running my business a lot more efficiently right now because of that, because of knowing what's possible, what's plausible, and what's not.
Wow. Wow. So I want to, we're wrapping up our time here. So I want to give you the last few minutes and what's the future for you? So has the competition bug bit you? Are you looking to get into more food competition shows? Do we see you on maybe on Food Network in the future? Is that the goal now, or is the goal now to be take this platform that I've been given on Top Chef and expand my business? What's the future look like for Massimo?
In terms of business, there's not much I can handle more than what I'm doing right now, unless I'm surrounded differently. But definitely, Top Chef All Stars is something that is every email I write to anybody or message I write to anybody that has anything to do with Top Chef, I remind them. By the way, I'm ready for Top Chef All Stars.
It would be a
Uh,
crime if you weren't on that.
I need to see this through. In my life, I've always gotten very close to a promotion, very close to a romantic relationship, very close to a job offer, very close to so many opportunities. Or even I used to do competitions, and I always got close, but I never got it. And I feel like Roberto Baggio. So Roberto Baggio is a, an Italian football player who was the best player in the world, but he missed the penalty kick in the 1994 finals, thus Italy not winning the World Cup. He was the I don't want to be that guy that he got close, 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 but he never. So before it was just about cooking for Tom, for Gail, for Kristen. Now I need to see this one through. I need to break the curse. I need to see this one through. I need to see this one through. I put my heart on the line, and it's broken. But
So
that's
redemption is in the future for you.
yeah. I guess redemption, and I also it was an investment for me. I learned so much in Top Chef that I can't just never do Top Chef again. Like I gotta use what I've learned, And I'm working with a few people for some ideas about some nonprofits. As much as I'm into the restaurant business, there's a few political things that I believe in to help society that I want to get into without getting too much into detail. Yeah.
Yeah. So where can people follow you online to keep up with all of these future dreams and ambitions of yours? Where can they keep up and see what's going on in your life?
Okay, so Massimo Agogo on Instagram, Massimo Piedimonte on Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter. But I couldn't write the two last letters of my name; it was too long. And I pressed OK, and don't follow me on Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter. Cabaret.l'enfer for Instagram. I'm thinking of getting an OnlyFans and calling it food porn, where I'm just eating a bowl of spaghetti.
That's a thing, man. That's a thing.
I don't know,
saying.
maybe.
Hey.
But it's not launched yet, and that's it. That's it. Cabaret l'enfer. I'm there every day.
Nice. Well, Chef Massimo, I want to thank you so much for your time and sharing some behind the scenes stories of your life and of being on the show. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you on. Folks, just a reminder, follow me on socials at Rich Herrera, at Eat Your Content on all social media. And to make sure, if you liked what we were doing today, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review. I'd appreciate that. Chef Massimo, again, thank you so much for your time. It was so awesome to watch you on the show. And if an all-star season comes around, I definitely hope you are on there. Like I said, it'd be a crime for you not to be on there. But thank you so much for your time this morning.
Rich, thank you so much. It means a lot. I can stay here all day with you. We can crack open some beers. But
heck yeah.
You got a busy day. I get it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Eat Your Content. If you like what you hear, please consider supporting the podcast through my merch store on TeePublic. Get great quality items like t-shirts, hats, mugs, and more, all sporting the vibrant Eat Your Content logo. Go to teepublic.com/user/eatyourcontent for more great items, and thanks for your support.